Attention, citizens. It's time for Super Pulp Science.
This is Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how genre gets made. I'm here with my long-suffering co-host, Justin Curry, who is known the world over as Chasing Artwork, and writer, letterer extraordinaire, Lyndon, who is also our producer semi-extraordinaire.
Producer junior?
Junior production
Assistant
soundboard
to the traveling salesman?
Analyst, yeah. Gentlemen, before we do anything else, I have to tell you what a small world Winnipeg is. Dear listener, for those of you who don't know, we live in Winnipeg, Canada, and Winnipeg, Canada has everything that a big city mostly has, but it also has the magic of small town connections, and I want to illustrate it in the following way. Longtime listeners may remember a sordid tale of my car being broken into like more than a year ago, where a bunch of our convention equipment, stands, banners, and stuff went missing.
Justin, do you know the story yet?
I don't know the...
Oh my God.
Hasn't heard
okay. He hasn't heard the ending of this.
This is
fresh news. All right.
Fresh news for Justin. So if you'll recall, I had a bunch of that stuff, and
It included a set of stands
we had
that
just
John
printed new banners.
Yes.
We had just got new stands, and then they went a walkabout
You left them in your car overnight.
overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
made that
cardinal
mistake, too.
mistake. Yes,
See
you've also.
episode 63?
Yeah.
He's making that up.
Yeah, I don't know.
There is a whole episode about your run-in with the police and that whole adventure. So similar to that, but different. Oh, so different. Put a pin in that notion that a bunch of stuff got stolen in a completely different arena of my life.
How long ago was this, though? A year?
More than a year. Yeah,
Okay.
a year and like a few months.
Okay.
In a completely different arena of my life, I sign up with Dr. Jonathan Ball to Manitoba's event called All Access Manitoba. It is a film producer production, line production. I don't know. You almost call it a mixer that happens, right? It's like a 2-day professional development event that is basically people who are wanting to work in and around co-productions in the film industry in Manitoba. Go to All Access. What does that have to do with our missing stands? Let me tell you about small town Winnipeg. So you have to sign up with this form where you fill out who you are and what you do and companies you've worked for and what names you are affiliated with. So that
if you want to be like on the lighting crew of a film, you'd go here, or
no? If you owned a company that did lighting crews for
Gotcha.
films, you would go here.
Okay.
If you had a intellectual property that you wanted to try and sell to a producer for broadcast, you might go here. If you had a production or a script that you thought really qualified for the granting system, or
so it's for people who are kind of in the industry already, have cut their teeth a little bit.
yeah. I mean, you can go if you're not, and just learn.
Mm-hmm.
But where it's
It's like the RV show.
kind of like the RV. It's the RV show, but for film and television and music, yeah, I suppose. You have to fill out all this online paperwork for your profile. Dr. Jonathan Ball fills out his online. We're doing it together. We're on the phone, and we're just filling it out. And like, what should we put here and what should we put there? And so he fills in the stranger fiction information. We both send it off. I want to say within 12 hours, he gets a mysterious message from the organizer of All Access saying, "Hey, is this yours?" And it's a photo of our missing gear. And he's like, well, how do you have this? This was stolen. He's like, I don't have it. A year ago, somebody sent me this picture thinking it was lost or stolen camera equipment. And since I work in the industry, they sent this photo to me. But I recognized the name and the logo Stranger Fiction.
So you had stickers on it, or
it just had Stranger Fiction written on it, and the name stuck in the guy's head.
Because in the bag are banners that say Stranger Fiction.
Yeah, and so the person recognized the name Stranger Fiction, and then it's like, oh, I've heard that before. Where have I heard of that? Oh, from this personal text message I received from somebody a long time ago. Looks it up. Our missing stuff is there. Turned out it was only a few doors away in somebody's vestibule because it had been dumped when they realized it wasn't camera equipment.
It wasn't
had been
anything exciting. They just threw it.
It's just been thrown into somebody's yard with a whole bunch of IDs and like random stuff from cars that they had been breaking into.
They smash into a bunch of cars and they root through what they want and leave
Pitched everything in this one person's yard, and they held on to it. So then the loop was I got to walk over to the neighbor's house, pick up all this stuff in completely pristine condition.
Because those banners as well, you had just printed those banners.
And we've replaced them in a time.
So it's banners, a fresh set of stands, a whole like
amazing
stuff. So a not insubstantial amount of convention gear that got recovered simply because, and you would point this out, good branding. You have to have your name on.
I was just going to say, this goes back to, moms in kindergarten, like put your name on things because it goes missing, right? So your banner stands, get a sticker with your logo on it and just put it on your stuff because things get mixed up.
You say that, but Gregory has stolen my mittens before.
Recently stole his mittens.
His mittens have his name in them.
Yeah, okay, dear listener, as long as we're telling the truth, I did take Lyndon's mittens that looked a lot like mine. And when I was indignant about it, I realized my name was written in my mittens because my own teenage sons have mittens that look like mine. And as a joke, I had written my name in the mittens like it was kindergarten.
Yeah.
So maybe what we're talking about today is the string that connects your mittens. Did you guys have that?
Nope.
Your parents ever do that when you were young?
There were other kids that had mitten strings. I did not.
What are you saying? What are you saying? So if no one knows this phenomenon, if you have very young children, you put a little string of yarn between the mittens, then you thread it through the arms of the coat, and then they don't lose their mittens.
Yeah. So it also makes me think I love hiding my logo in my pieces. And I don't do it all the time, but when I do it, it brings a smile to my face because it's something that nobody would notice unless it's pointed out.
So many of your...
Give the listeners a taste. What's a piece that
I was
they
just
may
gonna
have?
tell a bunch. So much of those like cozy shop pictures of yours, the Dozy Diner,
The Dozy Diners, all
hidden among the mechs or whatever, are tiny little.
Yeah, most of my I have like a series of kind of like find it pieces where it's like lots and lots of elements going on, and comes with a little sheet of like try to find this and try to find that. Almost all of those have my little whale logo plopped in there somewhere, and yeah, it just I don't know makes it feel just a little more personal that you have that little hidden signature.
Well, and let's not forget that the notion of a logo comes from a maker's mark, right? It's from the guilds, the old system of like having a mark so that you could find the maker.
It's called branding for a reason.
Yeah, that's right.
I also did years ago. I got to somebody was I can't even remember where they posted Redbubble or something like that. They were posting my artwork as if it was theirs, selling it. And so I got to confront them and they were like, well, prove it's yours. And so I zoomed in on my file like 500%. Like, here's my logo, dickhead. Like, what do you got?
Yeah.
How do you like them apples?
This notion of like what you call yourself and how you call yourself is less important than that you use it all the time.
Yeah.
Right? It's interesting, though, because as a GMB Kamichuk, I didn't think it was as important, but now that I have my little tripod creation that I now hide in little places and put it on different stuff, it has come back to me in strange ways also.
Look, I need some kind of marks. It's words. What's it say? It's weird. Aka, Kuto, Ala, Ita.
Last time you were on the podcast, Justin, you came to us with a mission, with an idea, with a brief. You got me all excited, all a tither, and then you left.
Yes, it did.
And I had no satisfaction.
And I listened to that podcast this morning while I was walking the dog and driving over, and you'd already started rolling on some ideas.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've promptly forgotten all of them because I didn't get to follow up. So for the dear listener who does not know what we're talking about, we won't force you to go and find a previous episode. Justin is going to lay out the premise of a story break. For those of you who are new, the notion of the story break is we're going to break down all the beats of a story, beginning, middle, and end, right now for your listening pleasure.
Yeah.
And go.
So I've noticed a trend in horror movies. I like watching horror movies, and especially movies that have to do with hauntings or ghosts or evil spirits. If a person dies that has like unfinished business, or if they die in a horrible way, they come back as like this menacing specter, right? And then this menacing specter goes around killing people, but he kills them in horrible ways, and kills people who also would have some unfinished business, and they never come back as a more powerful. They don't come back as a ghost, right? Like it seems like
isn't getting killed by a ghost more terrifying than being killed by, say, your parents?
Don't we all die with unfinished business?
Yeah.
Right.
So this just kind of like looking at this from more like, from the superhero perspective, or how powers work, or how magic works. I always like when there's set rules and you can understand those rules and work with those rules. And in ghost movies and horror movies, it's always kind of vague and left up in the air. And so I wanted to pitch a story that kind of grounds the mechanics of how the haunting works and the powers of the ghost works, and
Now, refresh my memory as things I said last time. I remember getting all excited about a possible title, but I've promptly forgotten it.
Torment.
Oh yeah,
I think
that's
was
right.
your title.
We're talking
and
about,
you kind of put in my head something about a specific
location.
So the ghosts or spirits are tethered to a specific location, was one of the things you had mentioned.
Right.
I started to go in a little more of I kind of tied science fiction into this a little bit. So here's kind of what I've been tumbling around in my head, and we can go from there. I'm going to reference a couple other movies that I like things that they were doing in them to kind of bring into our potential movie pitch. So in two movies in particular, Constantine and Lazarus, this idea that when you die, if you go to hell, time acts differently. So in Constantine, when he goes to hell, he's there from his perspective, he's there for hours or weeks, but on Earth, it's only been a couple seconds, right? The idea that the different planes have different timelines, they have different time slips. Lazarus is not a great horror movie. It's a really stacked cast. It has all this potential to be this great horror movie, and it's about people trying to bring the dead back to life with this serum.
Saw that.
Yeah. And there's an accident during they have an accident in the lab, and so they use this serum to bring back this girl, and she was only dead for like a minute or two, but when she comes back, she says she's been gone for years. And then she starts acting really strangely, and she has powers now, and it sounds better than it is.
She has powers now.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
Yeah. So I like that idea of when going somewhere and time acting differently. So in my mind, there's some kind of lab, or some kind of like, maybe it's a leftover lab or a current lab, where people are doing this experiment where they're opening a portal and they don't know where it goes. This also kind of happens in Fantastic Four, is another thing that came to mind, where they're opening up a portal.
Not the forthcoming.
No.
Fantastic Four.
The last one. Yeah. So these scientists open up a portal, and they're like, okay, we're going to send somebody in there. And in my mind, they get this portal open, they send somebody in there, and they're connected to whoever's going in there. And they watch on the screen as like the second this person goes through, suddenly there's like a million text messages comes through, and their clock just starts going crazy, and all these messages going through
because they're tethered to them somehow.
Yes, they're tethered.
Yeah, okay.
So the person they just sent in suddenly is experiencing like, weeks and seconds kind of thing. And so the scientists bring them back, and what they bring back is somebody who's gone through like years of something horrible on the other side of that wall, or the other side of that portal. They brought them back. They were only gone for a couple of seconds, but now they're different. They become some kind of monster, or I'm imagining like a different dimension where the radiation there causes humans to like heal quickly, so they're constantly going through horrible things, but they recover from it. Just kind of like bringing the concepts of Dante's Inferno and hell into something like a little more science fiction
like how
based.
Prometheus was punished with I'm pretty sure that's the Prometheus myth, where the bird was eating his liver every day and then it heals back.
Regrows, right?
Yeah.
So you're on some kind of different dimensional plane or some kind of different place where it like there's creatures, it's dangerous, it's horrible. You can't die, you're always healing, and you're experiencing years of time separated from.
Same but different. It reminds me of Event Horizon, as long as we're putting all of our influences in the pile here, which is a good place to start, dear listener, when you're trying to do some story breaking. Just put your influences in the pile.
Yeah.
Event Horizon, the premise is a spacecraft has a way to make a hole in space so it can pass through and travel great distances. But the shortcut they take through this other dimension is discovered when they find the craft having returned, that the shortcut it passes through is hell itself. And so it's a science fiction world where the warp engines, you take a shortcut through hell and have to suffer for an eternity in hell before you pop out the other side. So your relative time is different.
Yeah. And what in Event Horizon, do they experience that time, or just the contact with hell drives them crazy?
I think they come back mad. It's somewhat amorphous, the explanation for how long they've been there,
right,
and what effect, because they find the basically abandoned ship, right, after the fact, which is haunted with the ghosts of the people who suffered.
So my kind of, that's kind of the foundation of maybe the technology and how this science fiction horror world works in my mind for this movie. And so it would start off with either one or two people going through, being in this dimension for like a minute real time, but like a year or two in their time, they come back and they are now the monster of the movie. They are crazed and powerful and unstoppable.
I thought that was about ghosts. What's happening now?
Well,
It's changed.
it's changed. And then so
This is what happens if you leave your idea too long.
so then
Change it.
near the end of the movie, or kind of what the decision would have to make is there's now this threat, and the only way to combat this threat is one of our main protagonists will have to experience the same thing but to a greater degree. They're going to have to go to this dimension for longer
And become a bigger monster.
come
Suffer
back
worse.
come back as something worse in order to save their loved ones or colleagues.
But they have to retain their humanity?
Well, maybe like,
Or they just become a worse berserker?
yeah,
A super berserker?
The office job equivalent is those people who complain about their coworker, and then the person in the conversation also complains about that. Everyone tries to one up each other's suffering of why their job is the worst. Those are hell. Those conversations are hell to me. So it's kind of a nice circle of hell for me to imagine. But in this case, they actually go to a terrible place.
yeah. So that was,
It's not imagined.
it's like an actual, different dimension or a different plane of existence that this person is experiencing. And when they come back, they are,
See, originally I was thinking about it being more esoteric in its explanation, but we could combine those two notions. So, like, for example, all the Irish legends have something to do with magic stones. There's magic stones all over, like the monoliths, right? And a lot of those legends talk about how ley lines connect, circuits of power that connect to like cosmic forces.
Yeah.
What if you had a series of monoliths that open these portals? You could open these portals, and they didn't go to other dimensions the way people imagine another dimension, but they go to other worlds where the rules are different, and traversing time and space on those other planets, right? You have to find the way out while you're over there. So if you leave A and you end up on B, somewhere on B, you have to find a different portal back to A. Right. And so there is a ordeal that occurs as you try to find.
and that's, I think the most interesting part of those stories to me is always like stepping through that portal. You're essentially, the version of you that's leaving is about to die, right? You are going to come back, but you'll have experienced decades while this other person has experienced seconds. That idea has always kind of appealed to me. Like the time slip in Interstellar is another good example of, they go down to the planet for 15 minutes, but the guy experiences 20 years waiting for them.
Right.
That kind of thing. kind of going back to the original idea, a little bit more grounded with the ghosts, I also was toying around with the idea of a family moves to a farm, and this farm is surrounded by like little rune stones, something like that. And while the kids are playing in the barn, a bird hits the window, and a very like a wispy ghost appears above the bird. And so within these, the kids start to realize if anything dies on the farm, like an actual,
There's like a physical.
there's a physical
trapped.
ghost.
You got demons.
I would slam those two ideas
Do
together
it.
right now and say,
This is what brainstorming is.
yeah, in your facility, they've set up the facility at the location of a series of monoliths
Mhm.
where the result of dying near the monoliths releases a measurable, obvious, for lack of a more scientific term that they would call them ghosts. You can track a ghost for a short period of time.
They found a place where they can actually measure this and
Right.
observe it.
They're
and-
observing it.
Yeah.
And so by measuring it and observing it, they realize in the archaeological, say, evidence around there that a number of sacrifices were regularly occurring.
Mhm.
And if enough things die, maybe something happens. And so they bring in, who knows, like a pig farm's worth of livestock and start to try and charge the connection, right? They prove that the ley line thing exists. Then they open the portal with ghosts.
So maybe every time, maybe there's a ring of stones with runes in it, and every time something dies, like in a close proximity, the runes start to glow a little
That's
bit.
right. Yeah.
And maybe they're scientists, so they're going about this. We did it with a mouse, and now a rat, and now a bunny, and look, and then maybe somebody dies on the job accidentally. There's some kind of horrible accident, and suddenly it's not a little bit of a blue glow, but all the runes start lighting up because there was an actual human
And so
sacrifice.
sentience, some level of sentience means that the spirit is stronger, has been
Yeah.
more tormented, and so opens the portal long enough to make a physical passageway into your other realm,
Makes me think Stargate, but darker and
right?
more gruesome.
What you'd have there is a Act 1 where ghosts aren't the point. They're the evidence of it's like, it becomes the mystery. It's like the cool thing that you get to show visually that
Yeah.
elements of science and esoteric magical practices are all going to mix together in here.
And I love movies like that where we're introduced to this concept of, in this area you can actually physically see the ghosts, and the ghosts are a type of energy that can power this machine, and let's explore that for a little bit before things start to really ramp up.
Yeah, so you'd have some scientists talking about how when people die, their electromagnetic field, right, dissipates very rapidly.
Yeah.
But these stones, these lodestone style, maybe, not magnetism, but some esoteric force holds the shape longer. And so you would have the one person who has been brought in as some kind of expert in the supernatural, right? Driven out of their real scientific field because they believe too much in this stuff. And they're finally like, yes, this is proof of it. Ghosts were real.
Yeah.
And then you can also have the science side saying like, no, it's just an energy field, but these things stop it from dissipating. And it seems like we can build it up. Like it catches the charge for a reason. It's not an accident. It's a machine, It's
a new type of technology that, we didn't know about, and this is really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's try and turn it on.
Yeah.
And then you have the skeptic or the person that is there saying like, but guys, maybe we shouldn't do this. You ever think that maybe we shouldn't do this? That maybe, and that would be, I think, the twist would be somewhere in that archaeological evidence that seems to be that, oh, you kill a bunch of people and it opens the portal.
Yeah.
It'd be the reverse. It was that opening the portal killed a bunch of people, like everyone who was there.
Right. There's all this evidence of some kind of terrible event.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they think they've figured out why all these people died. But
the cause and effect relationship that the scientist has is incorrect. They think if we power it up. And so they're bringing in livestock, they're bringing in animals, and nothing's working.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, an accident, someone gets electrocuted, like it's a big storm and a power line falls and someone gets electrocuted and their energy stays now and opens the portal. And it had to be people.
Right. Suddenly they get a huge reaction, whereas before they were getting a tangible reaction, but nothing big. And then, Jerry has a heart attack during morning coffee, and suddenly everything powers up.
Yeah. And as someone who doesn't believe in souls, I like the idea of proving souls exists as a fun story MacGuffin. It's like the one scientist is saying like, no, people are special. People are different. People are like the underlying notion of mythology, which is, the increasing specialness of people, right?
Yeah.
Which science essentially erodes and degrades, and the great decentralizing of the human condition gets reframed by scientists to be like, oh shit, no, souls are real, and we should use them to power these evil machines.
We can quantify it, and here's how much. Do you see the portal actually getting opened and explored, or is it kind of that's the whole thing they're fighting to? Is that kind of the climax of the portal opens for a second, we get a glimpse, something, and then it ends, or?
Well, what excites me about this from a writing standpoint, like now I'm starting to point myself into characters and like what characters would find interesting. If you had a character who was a devout agnostic or atheist who was like, yeah, I don't believe in anything that I can't be proven or measured, and then he's presented with things, the religious figures could be scared, but he's like, no, I believe in souls now. Like, we just proved it. We just measured it. Souls are real. And if souls are real,
here's the tapes.
What can we use them for? And if souls are real and souls power this machine, we need more souls to power the machine.
So maybe,
how are we going to get a person? Where are we going to get the next person?
What if this is all kind of established early on in the story, and then the portal leads to some version of limbo? It's some kind of dimensions covered in like full of souls, and these people go on expeditions to collect the soul energy. It's just now it's a company that has found a power source. They found the well. There's power in this well.
Okay.
And now we go in our special suits and our little like
so you have a time
collectors.
Jump? So you could have and the great thing about the time jump now is you could have the group that establishes what the rules of the world are. Then we cut to they're exploiting it.
Yes.
Right? And extraterrestrial souls. But you have in that first act someone get lost so that time can pass differently for them. You can demonstrate that time is different. Like maybe they go in, and I would have it the reverse. Not that they go in and a lot of time passes while they're only in it for a second. I would have it that not much time passes for their physical body, but for their emotional state, it's a huge amount of time. Like change the entire rules of physics on that world.
Yeah, like
break my brain.
What's that?
You're gonna break my brain.
But your biology is still on Earth time.
Right.
But your mind experiences years of being lost in this.
Right. Or you could,
world.
If it was a film, you could have that fun thing where a young actor goes in and then you say it's 50 years later and the young actor comes out again.
Yeah.
But they have 50 or 100 or 200 years worth of suffering on this planet.
Then you have, the Umbrella Academy, number 5, right? Like a kid who acts like a 60-year-old man.
That could be a fun place for character.
Yeah. So I like the idea of, we're privatizing the portal to hell.
Hell Incorporated.
Yeah. And maybe
that's exactly what people would do.
Yeah.
Right? It's a renewable energy source now.
Yeah.
Right? They run these big cables into hell.
Yes.
And they power souls. They power the is the energy grid now powered by souls? Right?
Love it.
Or that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right? So they're researching alternative energy, and they go to hell to get it.
And if we're doing this time slip idea,
imagine if hell is the next resource for valuable minerals.
Interesting. Like all your heavy metals. Now you have Apple going to hell to get its heavy metals for its technology.
The heat has compressed all of the the valuable resources.
Oh my God.
I always really enjoyed, there's a couple good Dante's Inferno. There's an animated film that's really good. And I just like it was just kind of almost like the documentary of here's how hell is set up. And here's like level 1 and level 2. And here's how this works. And here's how that works. I always kind of just liked, in a lot of movies and books and everything, it's just all these vagaries about like what heaven and hell is when movies are.
My
Look, talking the mic.
behind there. I did a poster. I did a map of hell for the She-Wolf book. Yeah.
Welcome to hell.
Yeah.
Right.
Today on your tour, we'll be visiting levels 1 through 4.
That's right. But it was based on Dante's Inferno, which was a walking tour of hell, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, I always appreciated that. So this idea that
Very hard book to read.
from like a science exploration, scientific expedition view, we found this limbo universe and we're going to map it and explore it, and here's what we can get from it, and here's the dangers, and here's the benefits.
Okay, so now that we've got this huge thing in a pile and all these wild ideas,
Now we need characters.
Well, let's do two things that are.
Now we start the story.
It's important to figure this stuff.
You got to figure this stuff out, and you have to recognize. I don't know, have to. Do what you want, dear listener, but I find it useful to remind myself that the reader, the viewer, the listener can only handle one impossible thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you should couple those impossible things with stuff that makes sense, that people really understand. And that's the role character plays in moving his story forward.
I thought you were going to say capitalism.
No.
Help! Get me out of here! Help!
If we have a story that's set on the precipice of hell, who do we want to send there? What makes an interesting story?
Who do I want to send to hell?
Well, to learn something by going there.
Ah, okay.
Right.
Let's start there.
Who do we want to be redeemed by hell?
Yeah.
So who would be the government or the private corporation? This company they've set up the facility, they have the portal, they figured out how to power it. We have it open. Now we need to go get our experts to.
Yeah, they have capital but no expertise.
Right.
Yeah.
We have this doorway is open. We're not sure who to send through, right? So Stargate, Arrival.
We've spared no expense.
Yeah.
No expense. That's right.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
All
Yeah,
of them.
exactly. Okay, so Arrival, Stargate, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It's those three. We have this amazing discovery. We've set it up, but we don't want to be the ones who walk through the door.
Okay,
Don't
gentlemen.
turn hell into an amusement.
You can tell me who you are in a minute, but this is who bursts through the door. Somebody comes to wherever the two of you are, your friends and your experts in your field, and they say, we've discovered a brand new renewable energy resource that completely will revolutionize all of Earth's energy needs. We need you to come and help us. What is it that the two of you can do that is not obvious? That you would both say, well, why are you calling me then? That's the real question. That's what makes it interesting.
We need a religious guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So a religious guy, right? Like
Because like they don't exactly know what they've opened the door to. They don't understand it, but there's a lot of religious stuff tied to it, or surrounding it, and
so a religious studies professor.
I would say a religious scholar.
Yeah.
Not just like someone from the church. But
Yeah.
someone who is a deep
knows
understanding
a whole bunch.
Oh,
of
and here's the thing I would do.
of the pedagogy and
You want to have characters switch positions. So rather than have him be a believer at the beginning, I would have him have once been a believer.
Right.
Some tragedy means that he no longer believes in that stuff, but he's
Yeah.
still the best scholar.
Yes.
And so now you can put him in a position where he actually sees hell and is like, oh,
Shit.
yeah. Right? So, okay. So we have a religious studies professor who gets called in by a energy development company.
Yeah.
Strange, right?
Why would you guys be contacting me? It makes
right.
no sense.
Yeah. And he specifically studies representations of hell and torment, right? And through art, literature, and all these things, because then you have all that great visual stuff you can use. Okay. Who else would you not think
I
of?
feel like, if I'm making this movie or this comic or whatever, I don't want just souls or humans on the other side of this. I want ant-like creatures. So some kind of biologist.
Okay, yeah, biologist. I'm thinking of a scuba diver, someone who's used to working long hours in self-contained systems, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, because they're going to have to go in to hell in a tethered system.
I haven't seen The Abyss in a while, but is this the beginning of The Abyss where they gather up a team and they're not quite sure what they're
No, you're
getting into?
conflating two movies. The Abyss, they are underwater drillers that
Okay,
get cut off,
Right.
and a group of
Am I thinking sphere?
Well, so yeah, no, I'm getting there. So in the abyss, it's a bunch of Navy SEALs that get sent down with some drillers to recover stuff from a nuclear submarine that has encountered an underwater UFO kind of thing. But then in Armageddon, they get the drillers to go to the asteroid, right? They're going to send them into space. And in the sphere, a strange object has arrived, and they have all of these different experts to come who are specialized theoretically in first contact with aliens.
Yeah.
Yes. The fact that I knew that much about each of your references tells us that this is why we
have
get
a
along
similar
so well.
catalog of interests in movies.
I want a natural resources expert, but someone with experience like on the rigs.
Oh,
Maybe they get pulled off an oil rig to
Something like that, but they're still sort of a natural
it's like
resource
a giant
expert.
oil rig, but it goes down into hell.
Something like that. Someone who would be able to, who has been to enough different, depots around the world and seen enough different forms of renewable and non-renewable energy that they have some sense of the infrastructure that would be required to extract things from.
Then you also need an environmentalist of some sort.
And then round the team off with a soldier or two, some kind of, we need a Marine in there. We need...
No, I think they've already tried that. I think that's why at this point in the story, they've found the thing. They've got a bunch of people have died. The Marines have failed. And because it's corporate and not governmental, they're able to be like, no, we're going to try something else.
Okay. I think you also need like a priest. I know we said we have the pedagogy expert, the lapsed religious person, but I think you also could use a non-lapsed religious person.
Well, maybe that's one of these, we can tie that into one of these other characters.
That's true.
And that's not like front-facing about them, but once things start happening, it turns out they're deeply religious.
I'm a good God-fearing...
Yeah. So when you were just
But they believe in Zoroaster instead, right? Sorry.
Is that another...
It's a Christian ideological clone.
Okay.
Kind of like Mithras. Christianity is not the first time that story cycle
It's a different flavor.
Yeah.
Dear listener, Justin is staring blankly at Gregory as he names these names.
There's so many flavors.
Now, I think people's personal belief structures and whatever gives them solace in the dark abyss of an empty world is important. Just don't ask me to play with your toys.
Yeah.
That's all.
Huzzah!
Speaking of toys, this, like when we've been breaking this for a while now, and in my mind, this was always something like a portal that kind of looked like Stargate. But when Lyndon was just talking there, I thought what would be cooler is if it's almost like a well, and they've constructed some kind of huge platform on a tether that lowers down.
The oil rig
idea.
But it's a lowering people. It's like an elevator. It's an oil rig that's an elevator.
But it's like, it's a whole, think like the command center in like a Star Trek kind of thing. Like it's a whole bridge. They have like all kinds of things.
Oh, the whole lab.
The whole lab lowers into this huge portal. So they can do a whole, they're not just sending a person through it in a suit. It's like a whole structure that comes
So I know who else is going. A convicted criminal who has... they have a life sentence. They're going to be executed, and they have agreed to be executed in the lab so that the portal will open, because you need humans to open it, right? So it's a privatized jail that has a bunch of people who are allowing themselves, their families are being paid or whatever, and that person is also there.
Right.
But it's
some kind of Suicide Squad?
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, yes, but no. But that isn't who dies. When the portal opens, the accident opens it, so then that person doesn't need to.
I feel like they figured that all out, and now they have their cattle ready to.
Yeah, and that cattle, quote unquote, these are the convicted criminals, death row folks. But in our story, what makes
one of
it
those has to be on the team instead of be.
That's right. Is that somebody is hurt in an accident, which opens the portal, which means
we lose one of our team. We lose. Right. The biologist has a heart attack and dies.
No, the rigger guy, the guy who's good on the rig, because then
the rig can malfunction and they
don't. No. Yeah, they have to panic. And then the guy who is there as the criminal, says, "Oh, I can fix that."
Yes.
All right, they have to let him out.
Gentlemen, do you think you have your cast now?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a 10-minute timer to tell the rest of this story.
Okay, hold on. Let me just get this right. We've got the professor. We've got the rig expert.
Yeah.
We've got the I don't want to call him the death row. The death row
Played by
prisoner?
Natalie Portman.
Okay, the death row prisoner by Natalie Portman. Let's imagine Natalie Portman.
Actually, yeah, because
On
what
death row.
we've been kind of building up here really reminds me of Annihilation as well with Natalie Portman. They go into this weird.
Yeah, a bubble of
bubble.
reality opens on Earth
Yeah.
where all the rules are different. Yeah.
Yes.
Ready?
Great novel. No, not yet. I just
10
want to make sure I
minutes?
have my questions. Yeah, I love the idea of a 10-minute timer.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure I know who my people are. So I
Can't second guess anything.
No,
yeah,
gotta go.
we're gonna
It's
have
just
to
like
go.
13 horrors.
But there's only 3. Is that all the characters?
Do we have a biologist?
Biologists. All right. So we have a doctor, we have a rig engineer, we have the inmate, and we have a biologist.
You mean you guys are serious about that demon stuff?
Okay, I'm going to start this clock. Do not waste time in your story putting the team together.
No.
All right.
Okay.
Go.
The accident is the inciting incident of our story.
I think you kind of start off as a montage of this portal kind of being found in like the raw with the stones and everything,
Yeah.
and then an accident opening it up. This company coming in, building this whole structure around it, discovering that there's an
A
enemy.
time-lapse video almost of all the rig being constructed, like a giant, huge oil rig refinery style thing, except that it's over these magic stones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Then we have to collect our team.
And then a whole bunch of, you'd also have in that all these cattle and different different animals being brought in. It's not working, like by the truckload. It's not working. And then some event, big flash of light, right? And then we'd cut to the team being assembled.
The team being
Dang
assembled.
it.
And I think they tell the team, you guys are the first ones going in. You guys are the first ones going in. And of course, once they finally go in, they find out that they are not the first ones to go in. They're
Yeah.
that
So
other
to
people.
open the portal,
Yeah.
we've got to kill a person.
Yes.
And that death row inmate, she is being strapped in. She's very cordial. She's very kind. She's very pleasant. And in fact, I would probably open with her as a very likable, wonderful character that everyone's getting along with until it's time. And then she's being strapped in and they're getting ready to execute her. And it's normal for everyone. And that is what makes it really weird for our new team that's come in. Right? She maybe welcomes them in and lets the new team in. Oh, hey, you're the new batch of scientists. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I was wondering when you guys would show up. Okay, well, I'm ready when you are.
Hope you guys can do it.
Yeah, I hope you guys can do it. And they haven't been told how it works.
Does she slip to them that the last team wasn't able to do it? As sort of
I don't know if
last
she
words?
would know about that.
I feel like maybe she's in a like they have cells, and maybe she's in a cell, and the one in front of her is empty.
Yeah.
already.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah. So they walk past a whole bunch of empty cells.
And
then
like that's really upset. Like, why are there criminals here? Why is there a jail here?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah. And the religious studies professor would say, like, I thought I was being brought on an archaeological assignment. Like, I thought you were showing me a dig site. And then the team leader would be like, well, in a way we are, right? We do want to show you some things. There's some imagery that we want your feedback on. And so maybe that imagery is related to the execution, that there is like, if you look at all those illuminated manuscripts of the Bible, there's all those turning wheels that are supposed to be how heaven is depicted and how angels are depicted. And there's all this kind of like visual representation that like suddenly occurs when someone gets killed. But accident first. Who's going to get killed? Is it someone we know or someone we don't know?
I feel like it's one of the team we met, the tech guy.
So the rigger, the rig engineer,
Yeah.
the main guy who's supposed to know how things work.
The big gruff.
The leader.
Yes,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
definitely,
out.
Yeah, comes across as a leader.
Yeah, it's Russell Crowe, like someone that you'd only bring in because he's going to be in for the whole movie for sure,
Yes.
right? But then
But your budget can really only pay him for 10 or
yeah,
15.
he can only be there for 2 days of filming, so we're going to have him in setting things up, and that's it. So Russell Crowe's character is getting the rest of the team in. They're getting the tour. And there's a whole bunch of support personnel that are supposed to come in right around the time of the execution that are going to open the portal to hell, which they're having an argument about whether it's real and whether it's not real and how can you do this. They're having that argument.
And when someone dies, there's a limited amount of time to
That's
go
right.
through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Go through it. And so what I'm getting at here is When the accident happens, all the other personnel who've been here before, who've done it before, who know what's really going on, aren't in the room when the lab descends because an accident kills that guy.
And I think as
And
soon
it
as
opens
the
the door.
portal powers up, things automatically
Lock
happen.
down,
As
yeah.
soon as there's a human death that opens the portal,
Yeah.
things start happening. So they can't stop it. It's just, it's automatic because there is that short window.
That's right. And so you're in this lab that has notes and related materials that they can discover, but, and they were going to be in with a team of like 60 or 70 people, but now it's just this small group.
And we have that great scene of like maybe, the convict is all strapped in to get the lethal injection or whatever it is. And then this other person dies. It starts descending. They realize we don't have to kill this person. And like the frantically trying to stop the...
Oh, I love that. That's on a timer now too. Yes. So
because maybe it was about to happen.
Oh yeah, that's great. They're setting it up. The guy is electrocuted or whatever. The rig guy is killed. It sets the thing. Everything starts descending.
Right.
And then the timer of the other person who is now begging to be let out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it'd have to be more horrible. It has to be like...
Maybe
can't be
she has a big
injection.
collar on her neck.
Something that's more like a ritual killing in like a big ratcheted blade system is going to lower into them. Like in a really...
Something saw.
Yeah, something really horrible. Just so that you can have the mechanics of the race against time a little bit, I think. How are we doing for time?
4 minutes.
Okay, so we've got 4 minutes to... 4 minutes?
Jesus.
You guys have just been talking.
Yeah.
Oh, we're into it.
This is the fun stuff. This is the brain
the fun stuff. So now they're in hell.
Yeah.
Now what happens?
I've been envisioning similar to the scenes in The Mist where everything is kind of like gray and lots of big structures far off in the distance, lots of creatures that are like unseen, roaming. I guess like what is their mission in here?
Well, now it's to get home.
Yeah. But are they not supposed to collect certain things or...
Well, so I guess the thing they've been brought to do, whatever it is that their collective experience is supposed to do, they have to figure out how to do it. So let's just call that the MacGuffin.
Or how about, okay, so whatever that mission was, doesn't matter anymore because the rig is broken. They have to fix it. Well, there was another rig that came down here already. We have to find the other rig.
Oh, get the piece.
To get the piece to go back.
Classic sci-fi MacGuffin. We just need that piece of the whatever.
We just need, well, we bring up our computer stuff and look, on the map, it's like a 5-kilometer walk away to the other one. Well, we weren't even supposed to leave the lab.
Right.
Well, now we have to leave the lab.
But it's okay because their scuba guy knows how to work that stuff well.
Why is it so far away? Well, things don't really work the way they're supposed to.
I love the idea of enormous wheel systems, ratchet systems with tubes, like so that you could walk out 5 kilometers and it would tether out alive.
Really? Yeah.
I love that notion.
So they have like big suits.
That's your lifeline.
Yeah. Right.
They have like
and some kind of robotic walker that goes behind them to carry the weight of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh. Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Right. But then what happens? We only have moments.
Yeah.
Let's call the walker Virgil.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so
Amazing.
Virgils. There's a bunch of Virgil robots that have to carry their lifelines with them as they go into hell. They have to find the piece, and they have to get back. They have to repair the rig and go upstairs. That's the plot.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it worth watching? What makes it worth reading? What makes it worth seeing if it's a graphic novel?
Yeah. Are there humans that aren't human anymore? They've been there so long. They've been through so much. They've become some monstrosities. Are there just creatures there because this is like almost like a different planet?
Are we accepting it as real hell? Are people seeing people they know?
So that's my thing, is that my question, the natural question would be, is it a metaphorical representation of hell, or is it that there was one literal true version? That
I would love if these people are seeing hallucinations of people they know.
Hate that shit.
Yeah, I hate
the like, was it real? Wasn't like, was it a vision? I really don't. I want to ground this a bit more.
We want grounded hell. All right.
But listen, as a limitation, this is a lofty difficult thing to try and reach, which definitely is not going to be able to do in the next 2 minutes or however
1
long we
minute.
have. But setting out that you want to take the entire mythological architecture of a belief system and try to ground
Which
it.
maybe it was based off this different planet or this different
Yes.
dimension.
That's how we ended up with the superhero movies we hate.
Right?
We grounded them too much.
Too much. But what is something that is of use for them to bring back? What is something that's going to be changed? If we have this, if someone has lost their faith, is their faith of actual use in this? And do we get to quantify faith? Like if we've quantified the soul as a real object, and we're saying for the purpose of this story, the soul is real and it can do things, then they have to find or release a specific soul to do
Maybe in this place, if you believe in something, it'll work. If you don't believe in something, it won't work. So you could do that with something simple like a gun. The guy tries to fire a gun and it doesn't work, and the other guy grabs it and that's the end.
Oh, that's our time.
I can still hear them. There's one more part here. Then they should be gone. Don't get so close. It's okay. It's working. Get there. Don't be such a...
Your belief has a tangible effect in this world. So if you believe the vehicle will start, it will start. If you don't believe in it, it won't start.
The problem with that,
It's kind of hard to represent in film or
even in literature, like
Yeah.
Stephen King tried this in the Tommyknockers book, right? It's like that belief structure becomes something you really have to lay out. You have to know the person well enough.
Mhm.
So what is a shortcut to that same kind of value?
maybe there's that movie with Tom Holland where they go to a planet and your thoughts become like actual visions that pop around your head.
Yeah. I never saw it, but I saw the trailer. Yeah.
In this world, the things that you're afraid of become like physical ghosts that start surrounding you, and the more you think about them, the more you're afraid of them, the more they become real and
Okay.
tangible.
I have one. They find... Okay, it's hell, right? So torment is important. This is a functional element of the grand mythology of hell, is that you go there and suffer forever.
So you could have some early on scene where somebody gets cut and it stitches itself up but leaves a nasty scar.
Something like that, but I was more thinking of, so they open the door to hell by executing these convicts, but they find that there is another set of people maybe who did volunteer or who didn't volunteer, who through their suffering, these ghosts and these creatures and these entities are attracted to them, and that's where they're extracting the energy from them. And so only through their suffering, they figure out that what they have to, they get to the other lab.
Maybe it's a harvester, like they're going like
They get to the other lab and they realize that they harvested all this energy, but in order to do it, they had to really torture this person, right? And to attract these things to the torment and suffering. And so now they have to pick one of them to make suffer in order to get their thing powered. Like they get there and they fail. They're like, oh, we think it's this part we need.
Everything powers down.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's that the person who was at the center of that device was being slowly tortured or made to suffer. And that's what attracted the creatures which powered the lab. Which
So kind of like how earlier in this pitch, where like a little death lights up the machine a little bit.
Right.
Somebody, gets their leg crushed under a huge machine and suddenly things start powering up. It's the pain and suffering that powers the...
Yeah. And now you have this body horror, like horrible contention in the last act.
Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes to do the ending.
Okay.
Now that you have the machine, you know how it works. You have who's up to the team.
Someone somewhere wants something, a complication.
Who seemed really agreeable and kind of almost timid, discovers the mechanics of pain, makes things work, and now is the menace, the villain of the story, takes over, captures people, starts torturing them in order to get home.
Our mild-mannered environmentalist, our naturalist, is
our vegan environmentalist.
Right, understands that life feeds on life, and it creates a certain amount of energy. And so in this world, torment is the energy that attracts things. It's like the way light draws moths, right? If you need to...
We're really treading close to the Hellraiser territory.
Right. But it's, I think, a comfortable edge, right? We're doing the singer, not the song in that case, right?
Yeah. So our timid environmentalist becomes the villain.
Embraces their own personal hell, which
Yeah.
is a world in which pain is not avoidable.
This is what they were going to load on to the lab, which is all these other animals. Making the animals suffer was more humane
Their
to them.
canaries are gone.
Yeah, and they don't have that, so they only have the human animals. Sorry, carry
That's
on.
the only way to get back.
Yeah.
Whatever else happens in this like 60% to the 90% portion of our story, that last bit, I want to kind of be like when they finally get back, whoever finally gets back,
Yeah.
like, yeah, no time has passed whatsoever. All this horrible stuff that in the world, in this limbo hell world, takes like days or weeks, but when they get back, it's only been a second or two.
Like they open the door that they were trying to open before, and they're there, but the lab is destroyed, and everyone's like, their gory remains are there, and it's just this person sitting in the chair. And like the guy who went for coffee and came back, this entire adventure happened during
Yes.
that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, so someone somewhere wants something, a complication ensues. We got all that.
Yeah.
To end the story, you have to pick a detail from the beginning of the story that you didn't know was important and make it important. That's what a plot twist is. So, what is something that we generated in our brainstorming that we can now make important?
That they did spare expenses.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe, that's actually kind of funny. Like the element that helps out is the shoddiness of some of the equipment in the second try.
I was going to say, like, they finally bring back whatever this element is they need for renewable energy, but they don't actually have anything on their side that can utilize it. They just have it.
Yeah.
They do have it. No, I think, yeah. So do they bring it back? And if so, what is it?
Yeah. Or does just a lone survivor slip through the closing doorway at the last second and burn the lab to the ground?
Or is that instead of being a gate, it's now a tunnel,
Oh,
right? And
that's it all out.
you could end with some, great cataclysm.
Kind of like the end of Cabin in the Woods.
Right.
I haven't seen that, but
Yes, you have.
yeah.
Surely you have.
Cabin in the Woods. I'm
Yes.
thinking of Knock at the Cabin or Door at the, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods,
And
yeah.
End of the world, they open up the portal and
Sigourney Weaver's there,
yeah.
and there's a werewolf. These are the reasons to
Sigourney
watch it.
Weaver would fit in this film for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver is totally in charge of this company. Yes. Okay, so how much time? How many seconds?
1
do we
minute.
have? 1 minute. I only need 1 minute. The idea is the cataclysm. The thing that we stepped over, that I'm now going to reinstate as being important, is they discovered first all of those bodies that they thought were being used. The archaeological evidence that they thought was how they opened the portal. This is when we use it to show no, right? It was the cause of the portal being opened that caused all that death. And they've now reopened the portal. And the guy who is the religious studies professor puts all the pieces together. Da Vinci codes it and says, oh, I know what's going on. We have to try and close it.
Yeah.
Right? We can't let this open.
We can't go back, maybe.
Yeah, we can't turn this into a
Yeah.
tunnel. We have to leave it as a gate.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we have to destroy this side of the gate.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so he has to be comfortable with some kind of sacrifice that's the suffering that he's going to have to endure. He has to bring some suffering back with him. And so somebody that he has, if it was a late 90s movie, they'd become his love interest through the course of the film,
Of course.
right? Which he then has to sacrifice at the end. We could probably do better. Yeah.
I think this is a great first draft. There's some really cool elements here, and I like kind of the world that we've built. And this definitely needs like 5 to 10 more rewrites before it's.
In the
It- it-
cocaine-fueled 80s, we would
Right.
instantly have $40 million to make this.
But even between like now and the next time we meet up, I know I'm gonna like roll this over in my head a couple times and fine tune it, and we'll get it somewhere.
So, dear listener, I think the important elements here, if you were playing the home game of coming up with a much better story than us from our own details, is a finite set of beginning details.
Yeah.
Allow you to limit your scope the scope of your imagination. Your imagination is infinite, but if you limit its scope to a certain number of genre elements, then you can say, okay, what are the fun parts of this? How do I put those toys together? How do I build it out of the Lego so it's the machine I want?
Yeah.
Yes, we used constant references of other things, but that's so we'd have a shared language and we could nod and understand each other. What you do then in the second and third drafts is file off all of those serial numbers. You would take off anything that was directly an idea you ripped off. You'd leave that out of your draft, and you'd only leave in the parts that were your ideas.
In this story break, I didn't realize how similar things like Stargate, The Arrival, Jurassic Park, like all these, like we have this discovery. Let's gather the team to have them like those connections weren't formed in my mind until the story.
Leviathan. We could go on.
Yeah. There's.
I could go on. I want to go on. No.
For the dear listener's sake, please do not go on.
But yeah, and I'm sure so many people wanted to like shout great ideas to us during the story break, because I know when I hear other people coming up with stories like, "Ooh, you guys should talk like what? Go in this direction. Go in this direction."
You should talk. Yeah,
it's so fun.
Dear listener, please feel free to reach out to us through whatever means are necessary or available to you. Please do not open any portals to hell. This has been Super Pulp Science, where our journey today brought us from string-attached mittens to the tethers of Virgil robots in the landscapes of hell.
Love it.
And I hope...
Good connection.
Yeah, good connection. I hope that whatever journey you're on, it leads you to join the fight and make comics.